Football moments that made absolutely no sense. Back in November 2020, Orlando City was playing New York City FC in their first ever MLS Cup playoff match. The game was super intense, tied 1-1 after extra time, so it all came down to a dramatic penalty shootout to decide who would advance. The tension was absolutely through the roof, but what happened next was one of the craziest, most confusing, and utterly nonsensical sequences you'll ever see in a professional football match. You see, during the shootout, Orlando star goalkeeper Pedro Galase made what everyone thought was the game-winning save. The Orlando players and fans went completely wild, storming the field, thinking they'd clinch the victory. But then the referee got a call from VAR, the video assistant referee, and that's when the absolute chaos began. The thing is, VAR showed that Galase had moved off his line just a tiny bit too early before the kick was taken. According to the rules at the time, that was a yellow card offense. Since Galase had already received a yellow card earlier in the match for time wasting, this new infringement meant he got a second yellow card, which in penalty kick shootouts today wouldn't be an issue since the yellow cards reset during penalty kick shootouts, but back in the 2019-2020 season, this was not the case, so Orlando's hero goalkeeper was sent off right in the middle of the shootout. But that actually might be the least entertaining thing that happened during the penalty kicks. As it turns out, Orlando City tried to bring on their backup goalkeeper, Brian Rowe. At first, it seemed like he was going to be allowed to play, but then the referee, Alan Chapman, after a long delay and lots of confusion, said no. The rule stated you couldn't substitute a player during a penalty shootout unless the goalkeeper was genuinely injured, and being sent off didn't count. So Orlando City had no choice but to put an outfield player in goal, who was Rodrigo Schlegel, a defender with pretty much zero professional goalkeeping experience. But then, against all odds, Schlegel did the unthinkable. What I mean is that after NYCFC scored the retaken penalty against Schlegel, the shootout continued, and eventually it went into sudden death due to Nani missing his final penalty kick, which would have put Orlando up 5-4. But then after a few more kicks, NYCFC's Gudmundur Thoransson stepped up. He shot, and Rodrigo Schlegel, the emergency defender turned goalkeeper, dived and made an unbelievable save. The stadium just exploded, and the ref blew the whistle signaling that Orlando City had won the match. But there was actually one big problem. NYCFC was shooting first, so Orlando still hadn't made the penalty kick that would win the game for them. So after some celebrations, the ref was informed that Orlando didn't win yet and still needed to score their penalty kick, otherwise this crazy match would continue. So Orlando stepped up one final time to the spot, and they thankfully made their penalty, putting an end to this insane shootout. But I post videos like this one every single day. Follow if you want the algorithm to show them to you.